In an ideal world, we could have both good marks and understanding, like we could have both time and money. It's very difficult, basically, but not impossible. Whereas getting good marks is a pure blue quadrant or skill quadrant activity. Understanding is the remaining three brain quadrants activities. These two objectives of understanding and getting high marks can be both opposite directions or aligned in the same directions. It depends on where you want to go or what you want to achieve in life. If your objective is not to pursue an academic career, then getting high marks is nothing more than a vanity project. As I mentioned earlier, high marks correspond to higher scholarships in later higher degrees. However, if you have no plans to go to very high degrees, why bother on focusing on marks? Instead, you should focus on understanding because that will help you in your career. You'll be able to perform better in your job because you have a higher understanding. This will help you to understand the task given to you, do some research, and provide you with the ability to translate the skills you had learned in school and college to those tasks with the skills that you would have mastered at school and college. You will be able to add on more skills that were not taught earlier or didn't even exist in your school days. So in this way, you can see that understanding will take you much further than marks because your customers won't be impressed because you had an A plus. They need a solution to their problems, and the more knowledge you have and the higher the skills you have to acquire the necessary knowledge to understand their problems and solve them in the most effective and creative ways, the more they will be satisfied. On the other hand, if you desire to pursue an academic career like becoming a teacher or doing research work, then high marks is a necessity in the need to memorize and to be able to answer the most frequently asked questions in the exams. You will need to forsake the understanding component. Why? That will take too much time to understand where the particular skills and facts that you are learning fit in the bigger subject picture. It will take a long time to find out how that particular topic you are studying relates to events in daily life. Furthermore, it will take much more brain cells to explain the events and phenomena that you have observed using the theory that you have learned. Finally, your focus will be totally deviated in the process of drawing parallels of the topic on hand with unrelated topics so as to create a synergistic effect that will imbibe the understanding deeply in the brain. This last time consumer is related to the yellow brain quadrant, which is opposite to the blue brain quadrant, if you remember. In this way, it's very difficult to have both good marks and good understanding. However, if you have no other interests than studies, then it is possible and desirable also. In the short run, you'll get the status, and in the long run, you'll have the ability to solve the various problems in life with finesse. So you have to make a choice. It's not enough to say that I'm trying my best, and if I get A plus, great. If not, it's okay. It's not like that, and that's where the students get it wrong. Marx, everybody understands, but understanding, nobody understands. That's the tragedy. See, you have to choose how much effort, time, and energy you will put in getting marks as opposed to enhancing your understanding. While the former gets measured and rewarded by the educational system, the later one can't be measured and certainly is not rewarded, at least not in the short term. But in the long term, it's a different story. I'll give you a very quick example. Have you understood algebra? I'm sure many of you got an A plus, but tell me, have you really understood it? Let's say you are driving and you need to find out how much mileage your vehicle is giving. How do you find it? Well, in the modern cars, they would have a meter providing the mileage, but in the older cars that information isn't available. So if you remember algebra, then it will occur to you that you need to find an equation. So what equation would give you the mileage of your car? This is the kind of benefits that is gotten from understanding and not focusing on the marks. You can make the equation and solve it. But if you had focused on the marks, this particular connection of the skill quadrant with the information quadrant wouldn't have occurred. Anyways, finishing with this particular mileage problem, the equation goes something like this. Mileage is equal to the distance covered between two gas fillings divided by the amount of gas filled so that the tank is full. The distance is gotten from the odometer, and the amount of gas is gotten from the pump meter reader. That's it. So if you also want to try, you can use that equation, which is not available in most textbooks because it seems not an interesting problem to solve for mathematicians. The effect of understanding is not only in the mathematical side, but also in the language side. If you had focused on understanding grammar, paragraphs, and the organization of ideas while you were learning English or any other language, then that would have helped you very much in your job where you need to write reports, proposals, memos, emails, letters of various kinds. My understanding of languages has helped me become a writer and also a speaker. So I linked the skills I learned in the blue quadrant to solve the writing problems and speaking problems that I observe from the information quadrant side. If I had focused on both understanding and marks in my school days, I would not have been able to either calculate the mileage or become a motivational speaker and writer. When I was studying, I had to make a conscious choice on whether I was going to learn the why, how of the skills that I was learning and ponder deeply on the various usages of what I was studying, linking it to my experience at that time, or to omit all this and just practice and memorize so as to get high marks. I don't know how many of you experience this conscious, subtle moment in studies. I'm sure all of us experience it, but most of us either are not aware of it or ignore it. But we have to make a choice, and the default choice is we focus on marks. But in life, marks matters only for the next higher degree in order to get a scholarship or entry into your desired educational institution. The most important and valuable thing you'll get out of your studies is the understanding, knowing the big picture of the skills and facts, knowing how they relate to the world around us, and knowing how to apply them in other disciplines or in its own discipline in a creative manner are much more useful than Marx. Sadly, very few people are aware of this. But after you read this book and having reached this far, I'm sure that you will be aware when this situation arises whereby you will have to decide what is your focus, Marx or understanding. To help you answer that question and make your choice, you can see the diagram called the degree mountain that I have come up with, whereas what I have described seems to be very theoretical. The degree mountain is a practical concept that you can use, even though you might not be aware of that subtle moment we discussed earlier, where you have to decide on either going the direction of Marx or the direction of understanding. I have expounded this model to so many hundreds of students, and they are all so excited knowing that there's not only one choice but many choices. I am sure that this model will also help you. So let's explore it.